Over the last decade, there's been $165 billion that's been spent just at the top 30 airports, which is where about 97% of the traveling public travels. Some of the examples of that $165 billion, LAX. It's the nation's largest construction site, $14 billion. Atlanta. Denver's in the middle of a $2 billion terminal modernization of their Great Hall. That's a public-private partnership. Honolulu. If you've all flown out of National, you've seen the cranes there. That's a $1 billion project. You know, the vice president once called LaGuardia a third world airport. You can't say that anymore because airlines and airports working together have invested $2 billion in LaGuardia. The first terminal is opening of the new Central Business Terminal. The governor of New York has also decided he's going to do a public-private partnership and invest in JFK. That's a $14 billion project. I could go on and on. It's actually easier to mention the airports that don't have investment. Given the current abundance of resources in the aviation system, we think it takes a lot of chutzpah for our airport partners to insist on either uncapping the PFC or doubling it. It's a historic increase that they're suggesting, when the fact of the matter is there has never been more cash on the table in the airport system.
Already 20% of the cost of airline tickets, at least, are targeted taxes, targeted at this industry. There's not an argument for going beyond this. Again, we've seen this again and again and again. We've seen it in 50 states. And the arguments against giving people free money who already have piles of money, who haven't necessarily managed it correctly, and who have not screamed bloody murder about diversions out of these funds to other sources away from the airports. I'm sorry, don't tell me that you're desperate for more cash.
Right now, almost all of the money comes from consumers. If it comes from passive facility charges, consumers pay it. If it comes from segment fees, consumers pay it. Security fees, we pay it. Parking surcharges, we pay for it. Purchases at retail and airport restaurants, consumers pay for it. Rental car facility fees, consumers pay for it. Bus fees, going in and out to the parking areas and so on, consumers pay for it. Ultimately, we pay all the takeoff and landing fees. The airlines don't do it for free. It's built into our airfares. And finally, kind of ignominiously, now I find out that we're also paying debt financing on the municipal bonds which are issued to help build airports. So the consumer is really the one who's taking everything personally, and we're having to pay a lot of the money.
The drastic fee could backfire and end up damaging our economy. A 2015 GAO study found growth could be slower with a PFC cap increase if it results in higher cost of air travel, thus reducing passenger demand. So why does this matter? GBTA research shows that for every 1% loss in business travel spending, the U.S. economy loses 74,000 jobs, $5.5 billion in gross domestic product, $3.3 billion in wages, and $1.3 billion in taxes. That's a big risk to take, even when we're not sure if the need is really truly there.